Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? How about now? Is the audio working? Looks like it is. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, Anna. Can you hear me? I just adjusted my settings. I had issues with my camera, and then my microphone decided to be finicky. So can you hear me? Just drop a 1. I hope you can hear me. Can everyone hear me? I'm just going to put a comment in here. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Sorry for that delay. I know it's annoying in live streams, everyone asking if they can see and hear, but that's just kind of how it goes because we can't tell otherwise. So I'm going to do a quick listing review. If anyone has listings they want me to review, please pop them in the chat. Appreciate the feedback. All right. So I'm going to share my screen really fast. 1 second. Share screen. If anyone's watching the replay, feel free to drop your listing in too. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen. And Mary, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Anna. Mary, if you're here, just let me know. Okay, so this is an Airbnb listing. So hopefully everyone can see this. I'll just kind of go from top to bottom and share some best practices and tips and tricks. So the first thing we have, right, is the header, Cozy Laurelhurst Retreat. I would make this a little bit more descriptive, right? I think it speaks to like, who are we serving here? I think this is more a short-term focus. It sounds like it's open for midterm, right? If it was midterm focus, I would probably say something about dedicated workspace, extended stays, king size bed, any kind of amenities that you have to make it a little more descriptive for what people are looking for. So I would maybe work on this a little bit. The character limit is pretty tight with Airbnb. They keep it nice and clean, but you can use ChatGPT for that. So I might optimize this listing a little bit. Again, I need to kind of know, it sounds like you're going more for short term, but it's definitely for midterm. You want to put your keywords in there, and I'll show you an example of that after I review this listing. Okay, you can see it. Thank you. All right. So the first thing, I don't know if you've heard me say this, but these 5 photos up here are super, super important, right? We kind of want to showcase the property in the best light. This image here is what's going to show up in the feed. This is really inviting. It looks nice. It looks very well designed. I love the style. Very hip, very inviting. But when I go over here, right, what I see is, and the photographs are great, right? And Airbnb will it'll auto organize stuff for you, but you want to actually do this manually. And I teach you how to do that in the course, or just on the back end, you have to do it. But basically, there's very similar photos. Like we have this very inviting shot. It just looks nice and bright and airy. These are definitely professional photos from what I can tell. Then we have 2 similar photos here, right? We have 2 photos of a door and essentially 2 photos of a living room, right? So we're not really showcasing all the different spaces. We're showing very similar photos. So it's not really enticing me to like click through this listing, right? Because they're so similar. I'm like, oh, that looks nice. But then I'm just seeing like, it's good to have different angles, but not in your top 5 photos. So I would definitely like switch this up. So if I click on like show all photos, I would definitely feature something that has some color. Like, let's see, I'm just looking through, maybe the kitchen would be one. It's a nice modern kitchen. It looks really clean. It looks like it was recently built or remodeled. Yeah, let's see what else. Definitely like a bedroom shot. Like this has like tons of bright color. It really kind of stops the eye. It looks very well appointed, really cozy, nice pillows on the bed. So definitely I would do a bedroom shot in the first 5. Let's see what else. The bathroom looks nice. Maybe a bathroom shot. Definitely a dedicated desk space. I would put that, maybe in one of the top 5 photos. A lot of times when people are coming, especially from midterm, they're looking for dedicated office space. And then I don't know if maybe an outdoor space. This looks a little dark though. I would definitely maybe get a new outside shot, or maybe use this one, right, just to show what it looks like, show the outside space. And I don't know if there's like a fenced yard, but that's also, if you're pet friendly, that's really good to show the yard. So then going down here, there's additional photos. It's kind of nice to show the neighborhood. Some of these are a little bit, I like the context, but like this is a little bit blurry, maybe a bit of higher quality photo. but I think it's nice to show the context, but the quality isn't the best. So maybe just get a better picture of this. The sauna is a little dark. Obviously, I'm sure they have some photos on their website you could borrow, right, to show that. Again, this is a little bit dark too. So I like that you're showing the neighborhood, but for as far as the photos go in general, I think they're really nice. They're clearly well lit. They're professionally shot, good angles, right? Nice detail, nicely appointed design, like really like little details like this are nice. I think that just shows like that you're going to have a nice experience. It's clean. It's not cluttered. It's thoughtfully designed. So in general, I think the photos are great. I just think that we need to go back and reorder the top 5 photos. I'm going to check questions here. Okay, I don't see any other recommendations. I don't see any other questions or comments. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So definitely just make sure you have your best photos in this top 5 grid, and you have to do that manually, right? So make sure you do that. You just have to rearrange the photos. And then going down here, this is like that's the main listing description. I'm just going to read it really fast. Tucked into Portland's iconic Kearns Laurel Horse neighborhood, this thoughtfully designed retreat blends comfort with character, with 1 bedroom and a versatile office space with day bed. Full kitchen and curated vintage touches, perfect for writers, wanderers, and anyone seeking beauty in the details. I think this is really a short-term listing, so I think this is okay, right? It really kind of paints a story. It paints a picture of how it was designed, of the neighborhood. If it was MTR focus, I would, speak more to like the amenities, like dedicated workspace and full kitchen. I think this is a little bit of a short-term type of listing. So then we go into the space, and I see a lot of times people forget, they just use this top area. There's 2 spaces to add details to on Airbnb. So make sure you leverage that. And then we talk about the space. Space is an artsy mixed-use home. The Laurel Horse Theater, a landmark of Art Deco cinema built in 1923, showing indie movies. I would add a little more context, like Kearns. That's the neighborhood. So just say the Kearns, located in the Kearns neighborhood, right, in Portland, Oregon. You want to make sure to drop those keywords in. For inside, I have cocktail bars and pubs, coffee shops and vintage clothing, green spaces. Yeah, I think this is good speaking to kind of the neighborhood. I want to know more about, and again, I'm looking at this from like a midterm perspective. I want to know more about the space and the amenities. So what I like to do is kind of bullet that out. I think I would put a headline here and say about the Kearns neighborhood, right? And then I would add some more stuff about like the sleeping arrangements and all of that and other things to know. I would move this up, just kind of highlight the amenities a little more. And I'll show an example of that. So in general, I think the description is good. I would definitely kind of add more detail about the space, like where you're going to sleep, the full kitchen, is there laundry included? Again, I'm looking at it from like a midterm perspective. And I'll show you an example of a listing that is kind of optimized like that. So I think it's really good. Just some small tweaks. I kind of like to add the amenities in a bulleted list. Again, and also, who are you speaking to? Is I these, it sounds like it's kind of short-term guests, right? So great for vacations, like kind of speak to who your perfect guest is. Again, with midterms, we want to talk about great for families, displaced by insurance claims or traveling medical professionals, but just, I would speak to great for travelers who's going to stay here, right? Kind of put that into the description. And then also, you can also mention your company name. If you just have one rental, it may not make sense, but it's always good to kind of brand your listings with if you have a name of your business, right? If it's just one property, it's a little different, but you can still brand yourself. So you could add that into the listing if you wanted to. But overall, I think it's really good, great photos. So I would just definitely rearrange the top ones and add a little more detail about kind of the amenities and kind of a bulleted style to this. Again, I think it's more short-term focus. So, and if you're open to longer stays, like let people know that, because a lot of times people don't know that, right? So I'm just checking the questions here. Definitely mention that. Okay. Anna, definitely drop your link in. Yeah, drop it in. I'm happy to review it. So, okay. So essentially it's great. I think I would just add a little more detail and add some more amenities. And I'm going to share one of my listings to kind of show what an optimized listing looks like. So just bear with me here 1 second. Just going to pull it up. Should have had it ready, but I didn't have it ready. I was having technical issues. Okay. So I just did some optimize, and I think it's also good just to go in and refresh your listings. And I'm going to show you a quick tip too. Let me just share my screen with a different one. I'm going to remove this from the screen, remove, I'm going to share again, present. Presenter invite. Sorry, let me just share this. I think I can't share one. I'm going to have to remove that. Sorry, okay. Share screen. Yeah, I can't do two at once. So I'm going to share a different screen, MTR listings. Okay, so this is the back of, let me just check my camera settings. Okay, blur my background so you don't see the messy background. This is the back end of my Airbnb. And another tip I think is to look at it from the public view, right? So I'm going to show you one of my listings I just kind of optimized here. So it's really important that this is like the back end view, right? Make sure that you're stepping back. It's kind of like when you put art up on the wall, like step back and look at it from the front end view, right? This is how a guest is going to see it. So make sure you're always like previewing it like that. Just gives you like a different perspective, right? So just wanted to share that. Okay, Anna, thank you for that. I got that. All right, so this is an example of an optimized listing. Like I'm always tweaking it. I think it's always good to go back and refresh things. I actually got, and someone else reviewed one of my listings and I realized, well, it had been a minute since I'd looked at my listing. So it's always a good habit to go in and tweak things. So just starting from the title here, right, I'm saying pet friendly monthly stay yard and king bed. Like I'm saying pet friendly because a lot of rentals are not pet friendly. I'm looking for monthly stays. Has a yard that's a in-demand amenity and a king bed, right? So you're always kind of tweaking this, right? And there's very limited characters. And I'm kind of showcasing a variety of photos, right? This is the featured photo. It's the living room because everyone likes to hang in the living room, right? It's showing you what a bedroom looks like, the dining area, kitchen, and a dedicated office space, right? So I'm just showing you this is kind of the best photos you have, right? And then if you go through all the photos, I think I'm still tweaking this, but make sure to put your put all your photos in the right categories, right? I think I might have some work to do on this still, but just basically make sure that you have all your bedrooms inside and all that stuff. And then I'll go back and show you what my description looks like. So I'm saying welcome to Cedar and Porch Properties, right? I'm kind of branding it, right? I talked about this more in the course, but I'm branding it so someone they can find me online and Google me, right? And I teach you how to do that. But so, I'm talking about the space. And then I'm saying looking for a temporary home for 1 month or longer at our property name. We're also letting people know we have properties in the area. We don't just have one property because people are not going to know that. So definitely mention that. I'm again saying extended stays are welcome because people sometimes they don't know that we're doing extended stays, especially in Airbnb. And we also are saying that we have a 31 night minimum, right? Because we don't want people inquiring for a couple nights, then we have to not approve the booking, which is bad for our listings, right? So we're doing that. And then what I'm doing here is I'm breaking things down really clearly. So it's really easy to scan. So I'm saying amenities, like general amenities. I'm saying pet friendly, dedicated office, super fast, high speed Wi-Fi, keyless entry, washer, dryer in unit, video and virtual tours available, right? I'm letting people know like very high level so they can scan the listing and know exactly what they get. And then I just did this recently. I'm saying like outdoor living, fence, private yard, indoor living, what you get, the amenities, right? Add your amenities here. The big ones are dedicated space. If you have like a walk-in shower, stuff like that, then I'm saying kitchen, and then general stuff, right? So it's really easy to scan. It's not in a paragraph form because people have short attention spans. So it's super easy to scan. And then I'm talking about sleeping arrangements, and accessibility is a new thing I just added. If you have like a one level property or anything like that, anything that makes it more accessible, like I'm saying there's 2 steps to enter, and then 1 bedroom and bathroom on the main level, which is really important. That we get a lot of inquiries for that, right? And then I'm doing a location section, right? I'm calling out things locally. And then I'm mentioning the property name at Cedar and Porch Properties. We offer pet friendly, furnished rentals. And then we're speaking to who we cater to. We cater our guest diverse needs, including traveling medical professionals, remote workers, pet owners, corporate housing, and those facing relocation or displacement. Like we're really speaking to the guests that we're looking to book our place. We talk about this more in the course, right? And then again, I'm talking about our company, other things to note, right? This is kind of long, but I think it's good to add more detail as long as it's done in like a really organized way. So that's kind of what an optimized listing looks like. Again, this is really for a midterm listing, not so much short term. So it's very much focused on like long-term stays, extended stays, dedicated office space, high-speed Wi-Fi. It's not vacation, right? We do want to talk about the neighborhood, that we want to focus on the amenities people are looking for in long stays. So hopefully that helped. Okay, if you have any, I'm gonna check the questions really fast. Okay. Anna, I see yours. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to stop sharing and pull it up. And then I'm probably going to, if anyone else has any questions, but I'll do this one last review. Okay, I'm going to pull it up on Zillow. Okay. Okay, so let me have to remove it from sharing, stop sharing. Okay, I'm just going to share a screen. Let's see. Okay. So, okay, that worked. Okay, so I'm going to look at the comments. So it looks like, Anna, you're saying this is a property I have on the market and it's not selling, so I want to pivot and rent it, thinking LTR, MTR. Okay, definitely. I love that. I think sometimes, it's a really good, the market's tricky right now, so pivoting is great. It just makes things cash flow and helps with holding costs and stuff, right? So, okay, I'm looking at a Zillow listing, which is obviously a different platform than Airbnb. So I love the stuff. The photography looks great, really pretty. I love that roaring fireplace, looks very cozy. So you have a nice photo here, the exterior of the kitchen, really great outdoor living, a pool. I mean, it looks really pretty. I'm not going to analyze it so much for the listing description because this is a listing versus a rental, but let's see, 5-bed, 4-bath. This is great for insurance claims because they're always looking for larger properties. The pool is beautiful. It looks really like recently remodeled, very modern. Open floor pan, which is in demand. I'm just looking at the photos, look great, really nicely done. I don't know if the staging is staging you down or you hired a company, but these are great photos to use. I love that bathroom. That's really pretty, really nice, really, really pretty. Like if we have an empty room here, if the whole thing isn't staged, right, you can virtually stage it. That's what I would do if you were pivoting, right? So you can start getting it booked before it's even fully furnished. Again, another empty room. We don't want to have empty rooms. And if you do pivot, right, definitely want to virtually stage that. I love those floating shelves, really pretty. Yeah. I mean, I think this would make a great midterm. I'm just going to look at the description really fast. That stay there. Okay, so whoops, back to listing. And we can actually do a quick market. Let's just do a quick market test on this. So, okay. Okay, buyers, we've been ready. This home boasts beautiful light-filled concept, open floor plan, 5 spacious bedrooms. Are they on the main level? That's what I'd want to know. I definitely want to highlight that if they are well maintained. In fact, yeah. This is definitely a listing, but I think it's a beautiful property. I think it would make a really great midterm. So I definitely think that's always a great option. I mean, it could be a temporary pivot or it can be a permanent pivot, but I think it's a really beautiful property, and larger properties are really great for midterm. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, so awesome. This is my like napkin math way of testing demand. So I'm going to go over to Furnish Finder really fast and just see what demand looks like. I don't know that area, so just give me 1 second. I'll pull that up. Okay, so if anyone doesn't know, you go to Furnish Finder /stats. And I'm going to put this in, and I'll share my screen in a second. McKinney, Texas, view stats. Okay, the numbers are running. Oh, interesting. Let me just do some quick math here and I'll share my screen. So it looks like the total, and I don't know this market. There might be things about the market I don't know. There could be industry coming to town or like something being built, right? There's a lot of factors that make something a good midterm market. So, but this is just Furnish Finders data. So let me do some quick math here. 67,765 divided by 281. So I will share my screen. I don't see a ton of demand, but it could be worth testing. So let me remove this and I'll share my screen. Stop screen. Okay. Again, I don't know that market. There might be other things, aside Furnish Finder, just one point of data. I would do some more market research. So share my screen, traveling nurse. Okay. So what you do is you go to Furnish Finder. I'll just do this again. You go to stats, right? And then you type in your location, right? And so it will tell you, so a quick napkin math way to detect demand is take the property listing views, which is 67,000 divided by the total rentals. And so I think 300 is kind of the minimum you're looking for. And I think, let me do the math again really fast. So the quick math is, let's just call it 68,000. I mean, that's not bad. 68,000 divided by 281 is 241. So I think it's decent. I don't think it's screaming, but there might be other factors that I would just kind of do some hunting in that area and see what other properties, if there are other long-term rentals, like look on Furnish Finder, look on Airbnb and see. But I also think you can also just test it, put it in the right platforms and see if you get bookings right. That's what I like to do. You don't have to make that decision like right away if you're going to, pivot, but it might be a good option, for the short term, just for a few months even. But I hope that was helpful. If anyone else has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. But beautiful property, really nice. I'm sorry it's not selling. It looks gorgeous. So nice job on the remodel. I know how much work that is. The principal is on the second floor. Okay. That's, as far as beds and baths, ideally it's a single level, but having like one bedroom on the main level is great. If not, it's not like a deal breaker. It's just one of those things people are sometimes looking for. But families are always looking for larger homes, especially for like insurance claims. Yeah, you're so welcome, Anna. Reach out with any other questions. But yeah, so I hope that was helpful. Feel free to, if you're watching the replay, just drop a comment. And I also have the MTR Asset Society, where I have the MTR Essentials program. If anyone's interested in that, we'll also do weekly or monthly coaching calls. We get to get on and review listings and whatnot. And there's a bunch of training in there. So, oh, and I see a question. If I have a booking, do I have to furnish it right away? So the way it works is bookings come in. They're not usually like tomorrow. Occasionally with insurance claims, I move really quickly, but usually it's like within the next, a week or two, or I say, hey, it's available on this date. We don't have to have it available right away. And people usually are a little bit flexible, right? They're looking for the right property, and they're often, especially with insurance claims, they're put up in a like a hotel oftentimes, so they have a lot of flexibility, like at least a little bit of flexibility. If it's like a month out, probably not, but like a week or two. And then also sometimes, if you're doing a walkthrough with the family, you could say, hey, we're in the process of furnishing this. Do you want like bunk beds, or do you want like 2 of the rooms to be dedicated office spaces? A lot of times people want dedicated office spaces. They don't even want a bedroom set up. That also saves money and you can furnish it quicker. So there's things like that. So, and it's already, I don't know how long it's been staged, but, people can be a little flexible, but I wouldn't say within a couple weeks, right? Ideally to have it ready. So I hope that helps. But fun to review listings. If anyone wants me to review theirs, just drop it in the chat. And I don't see any other questions. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Let me know. And then again, the Asset Society, I will drop a link to that if anyone's curious about that. It's a new community, and it has the MTR Essentials program, which is more like a self-directed program. If you need more hands-on coaching, I have a different program. But if you're like pretty self-directed, you have a property that's maybe not getting booked, you just need a little bit of more information or more info on marketing or something, I'll drop a link to that to check it out. If I can find the link. Okay, here we go. But yeah, I do have I've had quite a few clients recently that have had flips that were on the market that just weren't selling, and they kind of decided to pivot. They refied out of their hard money loans into a DSCR loan. There's a lot of great products, and then they're going to kind of decide what to do, but it just gives you kind of a breather to have some cash flow and take care of those really expensive holding costs a lot. So Yeah, it's a great option. Okay, I can't find my thing here. Anyway, I'll drop it in the chat. But yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know if that was helpful in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. And then check the comments one more time. Just make sure. Instagram. Oh, I didn't go live on Instagram. Whoops. I didn't click that button. Okay, never mind. Let me just check one more time. Last call for comments. Okay. I don't even see anymore. Okay. Well, all right. I will drop it in the chat. Okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.